So we're going to look at how to solve a quadratic equation when the a, so that's the coefficient of the x term, is not equal to 1. And the method we're going to use is called decomposition. So our first step is to determine a sum and product value, but in this case the sum is the b term, the 8, but the product now is when we multiply the a and the c. So that's going to be 3 times 4, which is 12. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give us 12 and add to give us 8. And those two numbers would be 6 and 2. And so the reason this method is called decomposition is because we take the middle term, the b term, and we break it up into these two values that we found. So we do 3x plus 6x plus 2x plus 4 equal to 0. And now we can do what's called factoring by grouping. And so we group the first two terms together and the last two terms together, and we do common factoring on each one. And so the first two terms I see they both have an x and they both have a common factor of 3. So I can factor out 3x and I would be left with x plus 2. And the second two terms there, I see they both have a common factor of 2. So I factor out a 2 and I'm left with x plus 2. And now I see that both of these binomial brackets are the same. You can see they're both x plus 2, which is a good thing. It means that the numbers I chose, the 6 and the 2, were the correct numbers. And now I can common factor the x plus 2 and write x plus 2, and the second bracket would be what's left, the 3x plus 2. Now that my equation is in factored form and it's equal to 0, I can use the null factor law or the zero product property and split this up and say x plus 2 is equal to 0. So therefore x is negative 2, or 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. So 3x is equal to negative 2, so x is equal to negative 3, negative 2 over 3. And so those are the two solutions to that equation. So I have one below there. I recommend pausing the video and trying that one, see if you can follow through the method the same way. Okay, so here's the solution to that one. I found my sum product numbers were 3 and 4, and I wrote them as 3x plus 4x. Now you could have written that by 4x plus 3x, and your question would have been different, but you would still have the same answer. And one thing to note with this particular question is when I factored my second two terms, 4x plus 3, they don't have anything in common. So in that case, I factored out a 1. And what that allowed me to do is know that this second term here is x plus 1. Great, so you should have solutions of negative 1 and negative 3 over 4.